Good Friday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here in our WHES 11 streaming studio powered by Humana. And we are tracking a rain snow mix across Kentuckiana this evening. I know you may have many questions about potential impacts, potential accumulations. We're going to walk through the radar view, the hour by hour forecast. We'll take a look at some projected snowfall accumulation amounts. But just know it's always tricky when we have multiple precipitation types like we're seeing tonight. We'll also take you through additional snow chances we could see this weekend on Saturday, and then the bitter cold air that's rolling in Sunday through early next week. So hope everybody is having a nice Friday evening so far. We can go ahead and get started here. Here's a check of our weather headlines. Once again, rain to snow expected this evening. Still keeping an eye on that transition. This is a wonky setup for a weather system, and I'll show you what I mean by that on the radar. Spotty snow showers are possible tomorrow, so we're going to have still plenty of dry time for your Saturday, some peaks of sunshine as well, but we could see some spotty snow showers. It looks like wrapping around potentially late afternoon, evening. And then, as I mentioned before, Arctic air really keeping us cold through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and in general through that extended forecast. I'm thinking the second half of January in general. But here's your temperature trends. Obviously, we had a cold front that rolled through a couple days ago. It brought us some of those snow bursts or squalls on the east side of town, and temperatures dropped throughout the night, really creating an ice rink in some portions of Louisville. We don't have to that extent tonight. Something that's going to help minimize impacts, at least on the roads, will be warmer temperatures. I say warmer because we're currently still well above freezing right now, but we have that coldest air lagging behind. So that actually rolls in Saturday night into Sunday morning, really dropping our temperatures into the teens and 20s. And then we really struggle to warm up much as we carry on into early next week. You see more of those blues and purples. If we thaw out for one day, we have another dose of Arctic air on the way behind. So this is really going to be likely the pattern for a bit here. Very wintry. Obviously, just a reminder that it is, yes, indeed, January. So we're keeping a weather impact alert today and tomorrow. Wintry mix tonight, spotty snow showers tomorrow. Some of those could be snow bursts or snow squalls, similar to what we've been seeing lately when we had Sunday morning snow on the east side of Jefferson County. We had snow, what was that, Wednesday evening? The days kind of blurred together this week. Across, once again, eastern Jefferson County. That has been kind of the favored spot, and then just flurries elsewhere. So I kind of think Saturday will be setting up more like that, very scattered in nature. Slick roads are possible, but those temperatures drop Saturday night into Sunday morning. So that's what I'm really worried about, wind chills. As far as this evening's round, we have a winter weather advisory in place primarily east of I-65. This was issued by the National Weather Service going into effect at 7 p.m. tonight, taking us through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And as I mentioned, this is a tricky setup, but looking at the latest model data this afternoon, this is the best corridor where the cold air that's coming in from the northwest and the moisture that's really streaming in from the southwest kind of phase together before pushing east. So this is where we have a best chance of seeing an inch or two of accumulation. We're not talking a big snowstorm here. And there's a lot of boom or bust with this kind of forecast. Not a ton of boom, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think that the highest we could go would be 3 inches, primarily closer to Lexington, more so the bluegrass region. But this is a check of that snowfall forecast. And I tried to combine Friday and Saturday. So 1 to 2 inches, maybe in the blue. We got to see that transition over to snow first in the blue before we, of course, see some grassy accumulations. And then on the backside of that, there's just not as much moisture to the north and there's not as much cold air to the southwest. So that's why you're seeing dusting to 1 inch maybe, including in Louisville and southern Indiana. Just know if you have a snow burst, a snow squall today or tomorrow, similar to what we've been seeing lately, that can drop a quick accumulation. So that's kind of the outlier here. Anytime you try to paint a big picture, obviously within those categories, you can have isolated higher amounts, but that would not be the general trend. So, Max HD radar, if you're watching on Facebook and you want to let me know what kind of precipitation you're seeing outside, if anything, I'd love that. Is anybody seeing snowflakes? I did look at the French lit camera. It was very pretty during the 4 and 5 o'clock hours of our newscast. They were seeing some big snowflakes up there in French Lick, also in Paoli at Paoli Peaks. But for French Lick, it was melting as it was reaching the ground. So, it wasn't accumulating. Right now, anytime the radar tries to pick up on what is falling, I mean, it's just a mess. So it's trying to pick up on maybe some snow mixing in with some rain. I put the temperatures on here just to show you that we're all still above freezing, but just a science lesson, it does not need to be freezing at the surface. You don't need 32-degree temperatures for it to snow. What we care about is what's up here. So as long as you're cold enough higher up in the atmosphere, it can snow and then still melt as it reaches the ground. So that might be what we're starting to see here. Big picture view, this is a complex system because take a look at all this moisture. I'm going to see if I can pull up, here we go, a pointer. So you have all of this moisture that's streaming in as rain, right? Because it's coming in from a warmer area. It's coming in from the southwest, bringing rain from the southwest. You're seeing that especially around Nashville. And then you have cold air with a front and then a secondary front, a reinforcing front with all of these little snow bursts. I used to work in Omaha, so I have a lot of friends who are still meteorologists there, and they had some snow squall activity out there today. Gustier winds the farther northwest that you could do go. And anytime you see snow that looks like this, like little bursts, that's what it's been looking like anytime we've been seeing these snow squalls across Kentuckiana, once again, Sunday and Wednesday. So we're not seeing that with this original batch here because it's kind of more of a stream of moisture. But on the backside of it, if we have spotty snow showers tonight or tomorrow, they could be squally in activity or snowburst kind of things. That's what we're currently seeing around St. Louis. So a lot of times with that, as I mentioned, it can coat the ground, but it's really the visibility that creates the hazard if you're out on the roads and visibility drops very quickly. Thankfully, if we had that overnight, hopefully most of you all are in bed and sleeping through it, but temperatures helping the road conditions, certainly, if we're seeing a snow mix. 41 currently in Louisville, 38 in Shepherdsville, 34 a little bit chillier in E-Town. So where you might be having more of that rain or rain-snow mix, you might be getting some cooling as that rain starts to fall, and that can also drop your temperatures. 33 in Bedford, 36 in Jasper, 35 in Scottsburg. I will say if you're going to have snow and you want it to be cleared very easily off the roads, wet snow is better just because it melts. Temperatures are warmer, so if they put any salt down, it really just improves the road conditions very quickly. Now, one thing that we had to get past, this morning's snow ended up being not much of anything. I think we saw some dustings, maybe if you were in southern Indiana, probably higher elevations, flurries elsewhere. There was a lot of dry air. So it looked impressive on radar, but you know, your snowflakes have to fall through the atmosphere before reaching the ground. And if it encounters a dry air, it can evaporate before it reaches the ground. So I think we were seeing a lot of that this morning. Dew points have increased, so they're getting a lot closer to the actual air temperature, which means you're saturated. And that means what's falling from the sky is trying to reach the ground. So dew points have increased. So we're seeing more of that rain, maybe rain-snow mix reaching the ground. I'm going to show you two different models, high-resolution models here. This is our in-house model, the graph. So this shows, you know, rain-snow mix, a bit of a break kind of right along the Louisville metro area. As we continue onward throughout this evening, it zips off to our east. So that's the main precip shield, precipitation shield, off to the east of Kentuckiana by the 11 o'clock newscast. And then all of those spotty snow showers that I was showing you off to our northwest swing through here on the backside. So you can see that this is really favoring southern Indiana for any of those snowbursts. In fact, really closer to, I would say, Indianapolis, maybe over to Cincinnati with these into tomorrow morning. And then we wait for potentially additional snow showers. This is now favoring Saturday afternoon, more so Saturday evening. But what you're seeing here, obviously, not covering the whole area, which is why we only have a 40% chance of snow tomorrow. because the coverage is just looking scattered. So some of you may not see any snow tomorrow. Others may see snow shower if you're heading out to dinner Saturday night. Just please keep that in mind. That zips on through, and then we are just cold, but mostly sunny by Sunday. Here's another look at a different model. This one showing a lot more moisture. And I will say this model might have a better picture of what's actually happening, because if I can throw on, let's see, what do I have this in? Sorry, I'm trying to do multiple things at once. Here we go. So this is a look at the Max HD radar right now. You can tell still struggling to see that transition over to snow. And then this is the model showing, the pink is a mix. So that might be more telling of what we're actually seeing rather than snow. That still pushes off to our east by 11 or midnight. And then whatever is on the back side of here would be spotty. Could be snow squalls or snow bursts, but this is 4 o'clock in the morning. And then quiet, quiet, quiet until Saturday evening, potentially. And anytime you're seeing some of those skinny bands, you have to watch out for squall. You've probably been hearing a lot about snow squalls lately, because that's been what we've been dealing with gusty winds, drop in visibility, but it could be in and out very quickly, and then cold air on the backside. The thing is, even though what we're seeing tomorrow is looking spottier, temperatures are a lot colder than what we're seeing tonight. So what would fall would likely stick for your Saturday evening into Saturday night, and then really feeling that chill Sunday morning as you head to church. Temperatures in the teens, wind chills in the single digits. So I want to show you model data, because this was the most aggressive model, I would say, in terms of snow. This is our NAM, North American model. And this one has come back a little bit, but I would say it actually still falls in line with our forecast, where it has dusting to an inch for many spots. And then that corridor that's somewhere south of the parkways and then east of I-65 is kind of like you can see the tilt there. That's where you could see 1 to 2 maybe inches of snowfall. If we see that transition finally over to snow tonight, because that's just where we have a lot of moisture surging in here. 7-day forecast, keeping that weather impact alert tonight and tomorrow. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, if you have plans, looks like there's going to be maybe some snow clippers off to our north. If that brings us anything, it might be flurries Monday morning. Otherwise, more sunshine and chilly air. Highs in the 20s, lows in the teens. Coldest night is looking to be Monday night into Tuesday morning. I think some spots could dip down into the single digits with colder wind chills. And then it looks like we might have some kind of wintry mix Wednesday night into Thursday of next week. Model data kind of back and forth on that. And we're paying close attention to the long range forecast. Nothing set in stone, but if you play around with weather models, next weekend has been looking interesting for some time, of just a bigger system across the region where it sets up. All of that, temperatures, precip types to be determined, but just know we're already looking ahead to next weekend. Let's take a look outside here. So these are the same traffic cameras that we had up the other night when we did have that burst of snow, which is why they're all on the east end here. Roads just looking wet. So if you're heading out right now, no real issues. As I mentioned, cold air will be kind of the bigger weather story, long range, Sunday into next week. Sunday morning, lows in the teens, overnight lows, wind chills in the single digits. And then that coldest air surges in here Monday night into Tuesday morning. And that's when we're expecting wind chills in the single digits. Some of our neighbors to the north, wind chills below 0. So really a cold dose of air for Tuesday. Long range, 6 to 10 day outlook, even though we might see some subtle warm-ups like for a day or two, looking like we're going to cool right back off. Long range, 6 to 10 days out, still trending cooler than average. Our average is in the low to mid 40s in Louisville for this time of year. And I'm showing this because your cooler than average outlook for 6 to 10 days out and your wetter than average outlook for 6 to 10 days out lining up. So that's what I was mentioning when I say we could maybe have a bigger snowstorm somewhere in the region by next weekend. Not trying to hype anything up, just letting you know that we're paying attention to it. A lot of times what happens is something shows up on the model data 10 days out, and then you get to a couple days out, and it's like, what snowstorm? So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to pull this up full so I can take a look and see if there are any questions. And then I'm also going to check the NWS chat to see what is going on outside. See if there's any additional... Okay, from the National Weather Service, still seeing mostly rain reports across most of the region. Temperatures have cooled on some of the Kentucky mesonet sites. Thinking we'll finally get some good changeover if we can get some banding to set up. Interesting to note. Still looking like a quick drop of visibility in the next 2 to 3 hours. So that might be picking up on banding. Actually, let me pull up. I don't know if I've pulled up visibility for you guys. So this is visibility. This is always a good tool when I mentioned how much rain or snow is actually reaching the ground. That's when I was worried about the dry air at the surface. But we did see a drop in visibility in French Lick earlier when there was a decent snow shower. It was melting, but a decent snow shower there. And then also seeing some drops in visibility. Madison, 5 miles. I mean, nothing that's all too drastic. 3 miles in Springfield. But if you can see more of that banding, that would drop visibility, obviously. Or if we have any kind of snow burst, that would also drop visibility. Okay. Sorry, I'm multitasking, my friends. Thank you for hopping on this stream, by the way. I appreciate it. Hope everybody's having a nice night. I have the Max HD radar. Let me loop that for you. Here. So trying to see the changeover to snow. The atmosphere is being a little bit difficult. Amber asking, how much snow do you think Greene County, Kentucky will get? Raining in southern Trimble between Campbellsburg. Thank you for that report, Kathy. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's only so much that radar can do with a setup like this. So ground truth is always important. It's great because we have a lot of Kentucky mesonet sites all across the state in Kentucky. Indiana, sometimes I use the DOT sites because this is the radar just predicting what it thinks is falling to the ground, but ground truth is better. So a setup like this, as I mentioned, has a lot of boom or not too much of a bust potential. It did at first. I was a little worried about, or I was worried more so about it booming. Let's say that. So when we say boom, that means an overperforming weather system. So something that ends up with a greater amount of snowfall than we expected. A bust, obviously, I'm sure you all know, you busted the forecast. Anytime there's a multiple different types of precipitation, it's all about exactly the timing. So I know somebody asked, how much do you think Greene County will get? This is our snowfall map. I think this lines up with the National Weather Service. If we see the changeover to snow, you could see an inch or two after all is said and done. And I think some of these additional hits of spotty snow showers Saturday would help. So this might not be all at once. We're going to get some of that changeover to snow tonight, and then more spotty snow showers overnight, and then again Saturday evening. So we're kind of tracking multiple rounds here. Right now, chilly rain probably for most of us, which isn't very fun. Maybe some snowflakes mixing in here or there. But this isn't a huge snowmaker, and it's going to be slushy snow. So as I mentioned, temperatures at the surface helping to melt that, especially on the roads. We might see some slushy accumulations in the grass. If you see any heavier bands set up, that's pretty much more so the key. Do we have any banding? Do we have any snow bursts? If that can overcome the, quote, warmer air at the surface, that's when that starts to accumulate a bit. So here's our snowfall forecast. Feeling moderately confident on it. Up to an inch in the gray or white color, and then 1 to 2 inches, you have that best chance in the blue. And that is the same area that is looking at a winter weather advisory for tonight and into tomorrow morning. So that's here in the purple, primarily east of I-65, especially in the bluegrass region of Kentucky, where we're trying to see, once we have that changeover to all snow, the moisture surging in from the southwest, combining forces and pushing off to the east and northeast. So I am patiently awaiting the changeover to snow here, hoping that happens sooner rather than later. Don't want a ton of it, you know, it's just kind of nice to have snow every once in a while. It is January, right? And we're at the anniversary of the 1994 snowstorm 32 years ago, the 16th and 17th. We have a vault piece on WHAS 11 Plus tonight, and this week's Whether or Not that you can watch on demand as well. We brought in Doug, talking with Doug and John Gordon about that storm. Doug, of course, covered it here on WHAS 11. So that still stands as the snowiest day on record for Louisville, 15.5 inches in one day in 1994, and also the coldest temperature behind that, 22 below. Thankfully, we are not tracking that tonight. Let me see. Let's pull up a camera here. There's always a little bit of a lag with my graphics. Yeah, it just looks like some raindrops. I'll pull up radar one more time. If anybody hopped on here late, hi. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHAS 11 in Louisville, Kentucky. This stream's all over the place, so you might be watching from somewhere else, but thanks for joining me this evening. Max HD radar here, temperatures. Let's pop around a few of these. 33, 34, 32 in Madison, 41 in Louisville, 33 in Hodgenville. And just, once again, another reminder, you can have 33-degree rain, you can have 40-degree snow. It makes an impact on how it's treated at the surface, but it doesn't make an impact of what's actually falling from the sky. You care more about the temperature profiles up in the atmosphere. So this is what we're watching here, trying to get that cold air to go all throughout the atmosphere and transition over to snow. Might be seeing more of that snow transition in the next hour or two. But this is the big picture view. Even once that moves out, we have these additional little bursts of snow, if they hang on together, that are trying to roll in from the plains and the Midwest. Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois, that are kind of rotating on the back of here. So those are the spottier snow chances we could see. I'm going to wrap things up here in the next few minutes. We'll take a look at the future cast again, hour by hour here. Trying to see which one is doing better. This one's like too much, and this one's not enough, you know? Let's show the her, because we still are seeing a lot of rain. Maybe some snowflakes mixing in. This entire precipitation shield is what we call it, will continue to push off to the east while transitioning over to snow. The question is the timing. It's all about the timing, right? That pushes off to the east. I think it'll have a better accumulating snowfall along I-75 into eastern Kentucky. And then we're just watching these little bursts of snow that are possible not only overnight, but also tomorrow afternoon and evening. So even though a good chunk of tomorrow might be quiet, a lot of the model data is showing a little bit more of that wraparound swinging through by the evening hours that could drop a quick accumulation of a half of an inch, maybe up to an inch if you get a squall, some lowered visibility as well, and then that very cold air filtering in through here. All right. Checking comments here. I'll leave you with a look at the 7-day forecast. Wintry, right? Weather impact alert takes us from tonight throughout the day tomorrow with spottier snow chances, but still that opportunity for some squalls or snow bursts with lowered visibility. And then very cold air Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but more sunshine. Wednesday, 41. Could have some kind of wintry mix late Wednesday into Thursday. And then potentially a stronger storm system by next weekend. Not in our 7-day forecast just now. Just know that it's in the back of our minds. So you might see a lot of hype on social media here. But just stay tuned to meteorologists you trust. We'll be giving you updates. And if you don't do so already, follow me on Facebook, Meteorologist Mallory Schnell. I'll try to post some radar updates throughout this evening. And I'll have the latest look at the radar of the hour-by-hour forecast and the conditions outside at 11 p.m. tonight on WHAS 11. So it looks like that's it. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I hope you stay safe and stay warm. We got some chilly air on the way, and I'll catch you tonight at 11 on WHAS 11. Have a good one.